Hi,
Hi.
Joni. Welcome to another episode of Hanging and the Jiving.
Okay.
Episode.
It's episode 14, season 2.
Episode 14, season 2.
Oh, wait, is it 15? No, it's 15. I'm sorry. So season 2, episode 2.
Yeah, season 2, episode 2. But didn't you say it was like out of order?
Yeah, no, this one. Oh, let me just check real quick. Just before let me get my sources together here. So basically, this is so Florida Flips is what we did last week, right? And then our last episode, and that was episode 14, season 2. But season 2, episode 1. But actually, this is the episode. Actually, it's episode 17.
Okay.
Yeah. So on hold on, tilt the lights. Okay, sorry. I don't have a lot of lights. Okay, so actually on Amazon Prime. Okay, on Amazon Prime it says it's episode 15 because 14.
And this
So
freebie, on freebie it says, on freebie it says episode 15, Crosstown Buses Run All Day.
Yeah, this is 15 on freebie, but it's actually when you look up sorry, I'm having a problem with like technical difficulties here. So actually on Wikipedia, this is actually episode 17. 15 and 16 is JJ Becomes a Man, is when he has his 18th birthday, which is we'll do that. We'll do both of those. We'll do 15, 16 next. Podcast. So we'll do both of those and together, and then we'll move on to 18, and then just keep the numbers going, however that works out. So anyway, so this is, like you said, season 2, episode 2.
Crosstown Buses Run All Day. So basically, I can't really remember like all the
details of it. I mean, it starts off with JJ coming in. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I can't. Okay, yeah. So he comes in. I mean, he comes in, and he, makes Thelma bring all these groceries up. That's like, I don't know, when the opening scene, I guess, it's a running joke. He always makes Thelma carry something or do something or whatever. And then they get to arguing, whatever, and then Florida is like, what'd she say? I don't know. See, this is what I'm saying. I don't.
She just said that, I'm gonna get you for this, for making him.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm just gonna do the rundown of just the main thing. So basically, the episode is about Michael getting bused to a better school. So Michael's school's boiler is down. So it hasn't been working for what, I don't know, a couple weeks or something. He's been, or was it a week or something that he hasn't been in school?
Yeah, or something.
But the funny thing is he was down. So instead of like, normal kids, hey, I want to do something fun or do something, kid like or whatever. His behind is downtown or whatever, or no, he's at the school picketing the school and like, telling everybody that, if you can read this sign, you didn't go to Harding Elementary.
Yeah.
basically he's like, he's like saying this school sucks because we ain't got no heat. So anyway, so yeah, so while he's out of school, he's been doing that. And so Florida, is like kind of worried because it's been a whole week or however many days he's been out of school. So when James comes in, of course, Michael and or not Michael, JJ and Thelma is arguing over something, I don't know, as usual, making all kinds of noise, being loud. So James comes in and blows a whistle or whistles like, time. What did he say? Like
fake whistles.
Yeah, fake whistles. And what did he say?
He said just time out for, I don't forgot exactly what he said, but
yeah, some sarcastic, whatever. And so he goes over to Florida, like, give me some sugar, Give me some sugar. Anyway, so she like, gives him like, and he was like, that's all I get. And but anyway, so she's like, James, we got a problem. And so he's like, okay, well, is it a Thelma problem? She was like, no. And he was like, well, that don't surprise me. She a good girl. She a good girl. But anyway, and then is it a JJ problem? And she was like, no. And then he was like, now that's surprising. And then she was like, she just tells, James, like, I'm worried about Michael because he ain't been to school because the boiler's not working, blah, blah, blah. And then I think before that, I think Michael said something about the school, some sarcastic about the school. And, Florida's like, don't be making of the fool. Don't be making fun of the school. Basically that's all we got or whatever. Something like that. And then after that, yeah. So Florida tells James, he ain't been to school, whatever. And James like, well, what can I don't know. Does he say like, what can we do or something like that? Like I don't know. Like we can't. I don't know, like Florida.
He just said there's no solution. There was no solution. Just says, well, there's no use complaining. So
yeah, it's like like James is already like tired from working all day. Eventually Michael gonna go to school. It's like it'll fix itself or whatever. But anyway, so then there's a knock on the door. It's actually was it the principal or the vice principal?
It was principal.
Okay, it was the principal from Michael's school, and he tells James in Florida that try to come and try to visit them and try to figure out how come Michael didn't, or they didn't sign on to get get Michael to go to the other school that that the other kids are going to go to while the boiler's out, whatever. Essentially getting bused to a new school in an all white neighborhood or area or something. And so Florida and James like, well, I didn't know that. Like, what they've been busting and we didn't know about. And so evidently Michael kind of like forged their signatures or whatever, or told them, in other words, like, we ain't for the busing or whatever. And but of course James, Florida, they don't know. So then they comes out that Michael kind of wrote the letter for him or whatever. And so of course James gets upset, and the first thing he's like, we're gonna beat that ass, but for doing that. And so, but Florida's like, calm down. We got company. You can't beat his ass right now. Just say that for later. And then, so anyway, James in Florida agrees, like, yeah, he gonna be on that bus tomorrow. He gonna be on that thing tomorrow. And so he leaves. So the principal leaves, and then James in Florida is like, Michael, why you do that? And he was like, Michael's like, I don't want to be busting out. I don't want to go to the new school or whatever. I don't mess with the white folks. Like, why I gotta be bused to school or whatever? Why I gotta, be over there? And then, they're like, well, don't you want, like, better education or whatever he says, whatever they tell him. And he was like, yeah, but I don't want to go to that. I don't want to go to that. I want to be educated with my own people, And so, Jane Florida is like, look, you gonna get on that bus. And then he was like, nah, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then, so anyway, they're making them. What else happened? Jump in here.
So I think this is when Mr. Pearson, he says, well, you already talked about that. Mr. Pearson comes and
like he already gone. So it's basically to the next scene where they get ready for bed, and JJ that because Florida is making them go bed early so he can get up. I would be pissed at that too. Like, why I gotta go to bed just because he gotta get up? And then Mike, thing, if I was Michael, I would be upset if I had to get up an hour early just to go to bed. No, I don't want to do that.
I mean, didn't you do that in school? You had to take the train to school?
Well, yeah, but I think, let's say if I didn't start off that way, I think we always had to do that. So I guess I was used to it. But that even though I was used to it, it didn't mean I wanted to do it. But but there is no choice. Like, there is no choice, because I was the opposite. I didn't want to go to the neighborhood school. I knew it was the school. I didn't want to go. Even though I hated the school I was going to, but that's all I knew. That's the thing. And I think that's exactly what Michael's like. That's all I know, though. Yeah, of course he wanted to be challenged, and I'm glad he did go, but I can also see his side. Like, I don't want to, no, because that's all I know. If that's all I know, and I'm comfortable, and you put me in this new situation, I don't know how I'm going, So I mean, I see both sides. But anyway, we'll get to that. So later on, so JJ's in front of the TV, she's watching a football game or something, and it's 9:00, and then Florida gets the couch or the sofa bed ready, and he was like, what? Or she turns the TV off. He's like, dang, my, get up early too. Like, why I gotta get up? And so anyway, and then Michael comes out, with his pajamas or whatever, and he was like, I still, he feels like I still don't want to go. Why I gotta go? He's still like, like, I don't want to go. And then it's all sweet, like, Florida's like, come on, give me a smile, because he's all sad. She's like, give me a smile, Oh Lord, I don't even remember that part. I don't remember that part. But anyway, and then JJ comes out, of course, with the attention, with this stupid pajamas onesie on. So anyway, so they get into bed, whatever. They tussle a little bit because he's like, Michael's like, JJ, I'm worried. I don't want to go to this new school. And he was like, what's the big deal? he was like, I don't know how to act around him or something like he said. And I don't know, JJ just gave him a little advice, just act the way you been acting around other people. It's no different or whatever. Then and then a little bit later on, then JJ wakes up in the middle of the night and no, it's 6 o'clock, the alarm goes off. And then he turns and says, Michael, it's time to get up. And then he realized that Michael's not there, his pajamas just there. And then so then he's like, man, Michael then ran away or whatever. And so he goes in, he goes and knocks. I don't even know why he does that. He goes knocks at James and Florida's bedroom with his leg, with his leg out like and then I like this. This is my favorite part of the episode is when when he says, Ma, I don't want to alarm you and I don't want you to wake up Dad, but Michael ran away. She was like, what? And then James with his hair and like James ran away. It's like and then James running around. Don't worry, baby, I'll get him out. Don't worry. It's just funny to me. It's just funny. And then, and then he opens the door and then Michael's right there. And then JJ say something stupid, and then he was like, then Florida was like, Michael, where were you? He was like, I couldn't sleep. So I just got up early and whatever. I couldn't sleep. I was just worried. And then and they pep talk him or whatever. They try to get him to understand, the importance of going to this school and all this other stuff, whatever. And they use reverse psychology on him and it worked. He decides to go to, he decides to, go ahead and go on. And then he goes out the door and he was like, he comes back and then they look back and they're like, oh Lord. He was like, no, don't worry. I just want to let y'all know that whatever reverse psychology, it didn't work or whatever he said. And then that's basically it. I mean, and then everybody's all.
Yeah, he comes home. The last scene is when he comes home from school and they're all like, what happened to him?
What happened? What happened? Yeah. And
then he said it was fine and white people don't eat spare ribs with, he says white people don't eat spare ribs with mayo. And JJ says, so they think the fatback is a football position. Yeah. They think fatback is a football.
Back in a quarterback, something.
Yeah, it's probably from Jimmy Walker's stand-up, I guess. Yeah, so that was great. That was good. Recap.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's go through it. The dynamite track, or what did I say, the dynamite quota, I should say the dynamite quota is started here, where it's really just kind of, now it's becoming more standard where it has to be every episode dynamite. So it just seems like now it's becoming, because it's like stop, pause, dynamite, camera on him. So now the dynamite, what I mean is like the dynamite quota is starting. So every episode is dynamite, just like with the Urkel and Did I Do That thing. That's I think I'd rather hear dynamite than Urkel's quotes.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, we won't get into Family Matters ever. No. We won't get into that. We won't even review it because there's nothing to review.
No, there's nothing to review. There's nothing. So, did you know that? Okay, side note. Did you know? Did you know Family Matters had episodes where they went out of the country to Paris?
Oh, really?
Sean brought that up because she brought that. because she was watching The Facts of Life, and she was like, why did they go to Paris?
Well, I bet that they were low rated. I bet they were. Remember, you said that anytime there's a on location or traveling one.
Yeah, and she's the opposite. She likes those episodes. I'm okay, never mind. That's a side. I'm like, I explained to her those episodes it becomes dumb. The storyline becomes dumb. That's why I don't like, because she claims that I don't like anything. Because every time I don't like those storylines. But anyway, okay, we digress. That's another episode.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll muddle through this episode because I don't really care about school. I mean, I know education's important. It is important, but the whole time, I think from the time I watched as a kid till maybe a couple of years ago, maybe I didn't really understand what busing. I mean, I understood it in a sense, but I don't have firsthand knowledge of it because I never had to go through it until actually I heard like Chris Rock, New Edition, and people who are in those neighborhoods who actually had to go through that. When I heard their story, I'm like, oh, it's really real. And then I watched a couple of documentaries, and then I think there's some other documentaries where there's other cities where they had to do busing and integration and things like that, and it wasn't just always easy. I understand that. I think the reason why I didn't get it is because I just figured that, like most people who think that segregation was over in the 60s, that it only happened in the 50s with, like the what's that, the Fabulous Nine, or the kid, the Ernest Green album.
Prop 9.
Yeah, so I just figured, well, we're done already. Plus, in my little world, I'm just like, yeah, I went to school where I was mainly the only Black kid, but I didn't get bussed over there. I guess I just didn't get the correlation where I was like, but when I went to my school, I didn't care. I was like, so I'm the Black person, respect and get out of my face. So I commanded respect. I don't really care. I didn't really care. I was like, what's the big deal? I did it. I don't care. Even though they probably were slurring racial slurs all around me, I just didn't get it because I was like, whatever, I don't care. Actually, I think I was more of a surprise, and I think I was more hurt when I was around the Black people. Going to my high school, I wasn't really like, maybe it's because I was more used to hanging out with white people, but it's Black people that didn't accept me that much. I mean, I did have Black friends, but it wasn't because I was nerdy and I was weird. As well as going to college, I think I was more accepted by my friends in college, but I was very surprised by the non-unity between the schools. When we went to school in the AUC, Morris Brown, where we went, was seen as a low school. And I'm like, if there's supposed to be Black unity, why are we on the low of the totem pole? So therefore, I was surprised again by being with my people and being, thought of as a low person because I went to a certain school that wasn't, quote, supported by Oprah and Bill Cosby, or had that recognition of high recognition. Even though Morris Brown.
If I knew then what I know now about the Bill Cosby and Oprah, I wouldn't want their damn money either. I wouldn't want their money.
I would want Oprah's money. I don't care about Bill Cosby.
No.
Money's money. Money's money. I'll take it. I don't care. Just give me. I mean, especially if Bill Cosby would have poured into our school, just think. I mean, how much more? I mean, of course, not come around and hang out with the women, but gave the money. We would have had a much better.
Out, didn't they? Well, I don't know if they ever pulled his money out. I doubt it. Did Morehouse or Spelman ever pulled out his money after all these accusations or something?
No, I'm sure they spent that money just like. Yeah. I mean, I think they get rid of something that was named after him at the school. I don't know. I don't remember.
So I don't know. That's
So basically, I don't really. When I watched this episode, I really didn't understand the busing, and I was like, I don't understand. Big deal. However, now that I'm watching it, I still don't care. I still don't like this episode. I don't really care about this episode at all. I'm like, Michael, just go to school. You're the one. It doesn't make any sense. He wants a good education. He knows, if he's knowledgeable, he knows that going to those schools will give him better. Now I understand that he doesn't want to, he's probably nervous about being around people that are not like him. Totally understandable. I get that. But I think at the end, he probably realizes that if he goes to that school, he would get everybody's attention. And anything that, that reverse psychology that, Florida and James did, he probably had already made his mind up and,
Yeah.
So,
go ahead and do it. And maybe I should have went ahead and went to a neighborhood school. But then again, hell no. I don't go to that daggone school. No. Because I mean, no.
So you're saying that the neighborhood schools weren't as good because of why, Dre?
Okay, I'm not gonna say all of the neighborhood schools, but I know that neighborhood school down the street, no.
Because
it just I mean, even as a young child, I just
let me just for reference, you were in Southside Chicago.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Actually, I started growing up on the north side of Chicago, which I still claim as my home.
Okay, anyway, next.
But at 9 years old, or between 8 or 9 years old, we moved to the south side. And I knew that this just wasn't the neighborhood that I was used to.
Yeah.
Not to say that the north side was like, it wasn't like perfect, but it had a little bit more diversities, a little bit more, or something. It wasn't, it just wasn't, it didn't look rough as the south side did. That's just the truth. And that's out of my own eyes. I didn't feel like the first night we moved, we stayed there. It was like an old man yelling, like, stop. I never would forget that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta be here. So even as a 9-year-old, I knew, like, I don't think I want to go to that school down the street. I mean, these kids look rough, and I ain't rough. I'm not, I'm not. You know me. I have never been in a fight. I don't want to start getting into none. So, I'm not saying maybe it was a cool school, but I just didn't want to go.
So how did you feel when you went to your highfalutin private schools?
Let's just say I felt extremely outcast there at the all-white school, but I felt like I was going to be outcast in the neighborhood school, in the all-black school, because I don't think I really fit in anywhere. I don't know. That was just the age. I don't know if I was confused or whatever, but I was like, I might as well just go and stick to the school that I know and somewhat feel, even though I hated it, it's just what I knew. So I just went ahead and just went with it and, dealt with it. I knew, because the thing about it is my mom was almost going to, it was 1 year that, she was going to send me to a neighborhood school, or probably somewhere, some other, maybe not the one down the street, but I was going to go to a public school, because at one point she was struggling to make the tuition at the private school. So that's when I was like, oh God, I don't want to do, I hope you can work something out, because I didn't want to go to no public school. I didn't want to go to no local public school. I don't know why. I just, to this day, is just, I don't know if just feeling comfortable being uncomfortable is a thing, because that's what it was like. Just all that I knew, that the private school was all that I knew. And just like Michael in this episode, the local school was all that he knew. And so it was going to be very scary going into this new, this new territory that you just have no control over, or you don't have no knowledge about. And it is a scary, as a kid,
Yeah.
good that he went. It is very good. I don't know if I could have went. Maybe in my head, I was like, even though my grades weren't like, I wasn't smart as a whip like Michael, right? So it even though I wasn't getting the good grades at the private school, they were still teaching me probably stuff that they probably wouldn't teach at the public school.
Yeah.
I don't, it might sound snobbish or whatever, but it's just, because now you reflect on it. I have to reflect on it. Like while watching this episode, I had to reflect on, the position I was in or almost in, with possibly have to go to a public school coming out of a private school. That would be, that it would just be a very, I don't know, weird adjustment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how.
So how was the adjustment going from the private schools in Chicago to Morris Brown, the all black school? Just talk about that first maybe week, because after the week you're chilling, but just that first week.
I mean, taking account that you're away from your parents are in another state, you're there, and it took me a while, but I mean,
did you feel like
I kind of felt like I belong. I mean, I didn't.
Okay, yeah, I think so, because the people were I think, yeah, I can understand what you're talking about.
I didn't think that I was so much an outsider. Like, some people go either to college. I don't know. Some people go into an environment and they just instantly feel like, okay, I don't belong here. Like, I really don't belong there. Like, some people just don't belong in college or whatever. They just feel. But I belong there. Did I do what I was supposed to do in the first 4 years? Maybe I think I should have did better, and I could have done better. But I never really felt out of place. I don't think I really felt out of place at that.
Yeah, I don't think I felt out of place too, because I'm like, yeah, I came from but then a lot of us came from California.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel out of place. I felt like I belonged there. I didn't feel like, it wasn't like, maybe with some people, like in high school where there's a black crew and I'm like, nah, I don't want to hang out with them. I just don't. And then you find out they're assholes anyway. So I'm like, I was right all along anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah. The sororities and stuff, like, it's like, no, I knew that wasn't, I thought, of course, everybody, glamorized when they were watching Different World and they're going to join a sorority, blah, 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 blah. And then when you get there, and I thought I could do that. And then I went there, and so I was like, I'm good. I don't need all that. I don't want all that. I don't need all that. And but I still felt like I belong. It wasn't, I'm not an outsider. Like, I didn't feel like I was an outsider. Like, I don't think I
didn't
really
feel like,
felt
because I'm supposed to be considered a legacy if I would have joined any of the sororities.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't really. What's the big? I don't get it.
When they did the whole line dance or whatever, when they crossed over, it might be like one little minute. It's like, oh, which are you? And then the next minute, I'm over it. Like, nah, I'm good. I don't. No. Yeah. No, I don't want none of that. So.
Well, anyway, so one thing that I did like about the episode that cracked me the fuck up. I'm thinking I'm gonna make a t-shirt. I swear, I got to get a new t-shirt company. But Michael, when he wrote the note about he forged his parents' signature on the note about not being bused. He put the quote. Wait a minute. That what he say? He said, busing ain't nothing but a bunch of four-wheel honky drive. Wait, four-wheel honky drive or something. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. I want to get it right because it's so funny. It's the funny, and yeah. So one of the sponsors, busing ain't nothing but a bunch of honky four-wheel drive. That's funny. That's funny. I don't even know if we're allowed to. I don't even know if honky is a word that you can. Is that still offensive? Is that wrong?
Oh,
I mean, that used to be a funny word.
Honky. Nah, you should put that on a t-shirt.
No, don't put it on a t-shirt. Okay, that's just funny. I love that.
Yeah.
So the only there's no Walona in this episode. Interesting. Of course, we don't need her 2 cents.
I know. Huh.
So I mean, she would have just added, probably a couple of lines that.
Yeah.
Ron Glass, who played Principal Pearson. He's a notable actor. You'll probably see him in the next few episodes playing another character.
Hey, no, I knew he was playing a blind guy, but for some reason I don't know why I thought it was in the first season or something. But
yeah, I think it's this season. I think
that's weird though. It's like hey, recycle character, recycle actor.
Yeah, it's like it's got to be somebody else you can get. But
yeah,
Ron Glass, he's He's got a long list of.
Yeah,
I mean, when he was on Barney Miller, he was on. Would you like me to tell you the Barney Miller story?
Oh God!
Never mind. I won't go into Barney. No, I won't do that.
That show was so boring.
My father used to watch that show. I'll just leave it at that. That's the story. But
oh,
and then
we know the story.
Yeah. Well, so also they had in the 80s or they had the black odd couple with Damon Wilson from Sanford and Son and Ron Glass has played as the odd couple.
I saw that though.
You didn't miss anything. Let me tell you, I tried to watch it and it's just like it went over my head. A lot of sitcoms went over my head, but even that one, I'm like, just don't get it. I'll try to watch it now as an adult. Maybe I'll get it, but it's just like Damon Wilson's all gooey and I'm like, you just don't look good. And Ron Glass, he's always a class act. I never thought he was cute. I don't, maybe some women did. I was like, I don't get it.
He was all right.
He goes in the category of Philip Michael Thomas. I was like, whatever. I don't care. I mean, but I'll tell you who's fine. That John Amos, fine as F in this episode when he gets angry. That's nothing.
Something was like got his shirt off.
Woo. John Amos. I'm telling you, let me tell you. Yes. That's who should be.
That's my favorite part of.
It's my favorite part too.
Well, not just because of that, but just because it was just funny, man. It was funny.
Oh, I got a question to ask you. So, do you feel like, because when I watch James get upset and want to give Michael whooping, that's just normal. I was like, that's just my father. I would like, okay. Did that offend you, or is that just something that's normal?
Yeah, that's normal for us. This is normal.
Yeah, because now when I look at it as a 2024, I'm like, wow, that's a little bit intense. But me, I was like, oh yeah, that's what would have happened if that would have went just another day. Yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't bother me none.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Other than that, everything was good episode. Bernadette Stannis looked cute, but her hair gets better as it goes on as the season goes. I mean, this season goes on. JJ, the executive producer brother said that he's still doesn't look. He seems that JJ Jimmy Walker cannot play a teenager. He looks like I think he was 27 or something in that, and he's like he looks
Yeah.
old. I'm like to me he still looks young. I mean he's
Yeah,
thin.
yes, yeah, he does.
He looks young. I mean he could pull
He's
it off.
older now. I do.
Yeah, he's. Trey, what'd you say?
And raccoon ass. That's what you got. Raccoon
I
ass.
mean, he just gotta like lay out the sugar anyway. So, and maybe get a facial. But other than that, it was a good episode. I mean, it was okay. I get it. It's just I think it's great for the time. This episode's just great for the time. It's just people those kids in this early 70s were being bused. They're just showing a depiction of that, which is great. Now, once I got the 80s, California, watching that, I don't care. I just don't, I'm like, I'm doing it already. I'm not being bused, but someone's taking me to school, mainly my brother, or he's trying to drive me up. And I'm with the kids, and my mother's taking me to school too. Huh?
Spoiled. I wish I can get picked up and dropped off.
Did you want to get dropped off with your parents playing classical marches, band marches? How about that? That's what my father used to do when I dropped me off. And blasting them like they were like the beat, like they were the jam, Yeah, that's what I had to deal with. So, but I mean, I guess just growing up in that year, my California is a little bit multicultural, which I thought Chicago was, but it didn't make me realize. It made me realize watching this episode how segregated Chicago is, even though Illinois is a blue state, and Chicago's so liberal. How is it that you guys had a bus? And that was a problem in Chicago. I guess,
I mean, like I said, it could have been like, this school, don't have no heat, that school don't, and, they just, I don't know how it is now with this. I mean, I don't,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how schools are out. You know what the biggest
now, but I mean, I don't know how strict it is because I don't think it was. I think certain schools was strict on, okay, you need, if you live in this area, you got to go to school this area. I don't think it was really like, I don't think it was really strict back then, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I did have to get up at 6:00 or whatever and take the bus or the train or whatever. I hated it. But it was what I knew. And what I knew was that I did not want to go to no neighborhood school. I just didn't. So I just stuck with what was supposed to be, and I don't know. And then I got used to it, especially high school. I did the same thing. High school, I went to a Catholic school on the north side. Still had to get up early and go all the way and take the bus and the train. High school was a different thing though. So high school I was chilling. So it didn't bother me.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
What else? I think that's pretty much. I think there was something else I wanted to add, but I just forgot. But anyway, but yeah. So, yeah. I was gonna say something else, but I can't. But anyway, yeah. I just I think that was it. But yeah, it was. I just didn't care about it. I don't really care. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I know what I was gonna say. If this episode was written today, it wouldn't be about busing. It would be about teachers getting paid low salaries. That's what I was like. That's what I would. And when I was thinking about when I was thinking about this episode, I'm like, I really don't care about this episode because I don't have any kids and I don't care about going to school. I didn't care about going to school when I was in school. But it does pique my interest about how teachers are not. I think it's really interesting that they are still not trying to raise the salaries for teachers. That's what if they would write that, if it was a good time today, it'd be Michael can't go to school because teachers can't afford to teach.
Right. There's a lot. Yeah. Because they've been it hasn't been a teacher strike. I don't think it's, well, maybe after COVID, but the teacher was striking left and right before COVID. They were always like, not always, but there was one point that they striked a long time.
Well, I mean, but now they just like, they're quitting. Like they're like, I can't do it. They don't want to deal with, mainly sometimes the stress and the pay. The stress and the pay is too much. So they're just not showing up at all. They're not even applying for the jobs. So there's just like a shortage. So I'm like, if I had a kid and they're like, well, we want to bus your kid to somewhere, I'm like, hey, you don't have no choice because there's no teachers to teach there. Yeah. So I don't know, if I had a kid right now, I'd be like, yeah, you have to go to private school. Anyway, that was a great episode.
Yeah. Thumbs up. I mean, I don't think it wasn't the best episode, but it was pretty good. I just like I said, like that. My favorite part was when James hopped up out of the bed. It was just funny. That was just funny. Of course, you liked it because James had his shirt off. Freaking slut.
Was better than him than Ron Glass. Nobody wants to see Ron Glass with his shirt on. Yes.
Bad physique.
He didn't, but he had that old bushy mustache. I'm like,
bushy hair.
I was like,
that one. I like
anyway, like and subscribe, please.
Like and subscribe.
Buy the merch. I'm gonna have to find a new t-shirt place because this one sucks. So I hear. So, which is fine.
Because I want my hanging in the driving, and I want. Oh, sorry. I think somebody's printing something. Anyway.
All right. That was it for another episode of Hanging and Jiving. Join us next time
for
episode.
What's to do?
Yeah, two together, which is a combination. We can do that because I mean it's a big deal. I don't know why they do 2 episodes.
Let me say this. I'm gonna watch the episode, but you gonna recap it because it's now. I mean, it's like it's a redundant episode. I don't know if that's the right thing, but it's just not to take away. It's a good episode if you first see it. If it was your first time watching it, great episode. But after seeing it 500 times, I don't want to see it no more.
Yeah, I think we could probably recap it now without even having to look at it because I'm not really.
Well, you're going to recap it.
I'll recap it. There's some things that, little minor things that I like. I can remember that's funny, but other than that, it's just pretty much cut and dry. It's not really that. I don't think, to me, I don't think Good Times doesn't get interesting until maybe this season's pretty good, but maybe towards the end of this second season when you start getting into other stuff, the storylines get a little bit more different and interesting. Now they're still on this what I call Black awareness problem episodes. So they got the busing, they've got the jail, they've got the gangs. They're going to have education. Once they get out of that, and then they talk about, they talk about a little bit, poverty, a little bit that. Mm-hmm. Once they get out of that, then we're on to something new, maybe, something better, I guess. But, once they get out of this Black awareness and that we're Black, yeah, we get it. Yeah, you're Blacker than thing, and we got it. Then they'll get onto something different, and we can be like, okay, this is different. We can talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all righty. See you later. And subscribe.
Subscribe. I know.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. See you later.